Hello. I wanted to talk about the beginning of the universe and what I've seen online. And basically, they're saying that there was a singularity or a point that everything came from. And I believe this idea came from, since everything's moving apart, then there must have been an explosion that sent everything flying apart. And they talk about hearing microwave radiation that's similar to the microwave radiation that, say, a radar unit uses because it's been stretched. And that's the cosmic background radiation that was yellow light that was from the beginning of the creation of the universe. Like that got stretched out over, 15 billion years of the universe's expansion faster than the speed of light. Well, I guess they're trying to say that there was a rapid expansion that's faster than possible, basically faster than the speed of light. And they don't have any explanation for it. They just said, well, this happened because it's impossible for there to be this yellow light that permeated the early universe if it didn't expand everywhere instantly. Okay? That this light in the beginning made matter. That's one of the ideas that was thrown out there, that the intense light just created matter to spontaneously appear when it was very infinitesimally small. And the light was kind of trapped and it couldn't do anything. And electromagnetic energy is light, just like, I guess, radar and microwaves and gamma rays and sunlight. Then there's no antimatter. Since everybody says this rapid creation, but like at CERN, when you have collisions, you basically get antimatter too. It doesn't last very long. But they're saying that, it's kind of a 50-50 chance. So you've got two things that go along with this theory that don't make much sense. Like, one, the universe expanding faster than the speed of light and not following any physical laws, and people saying that that's just perfectly fine. And you have an explosion or possibly rapid creation of matter from nothingness without any antimatter anywhere. That people don't understand. This theory, it was a great theory. It kind of explained why things are moving apart, but it doesn't explain why they're moving apart faster than the speed of light between galaxies. It doesn't really explain that. It just sort of says that there must have been at one point that everything was closer together, and that's the reason why everything's moving apart. Well, that's not my idea, and I didn't get this from anybody, right? If you had two energy fields, and you had one that was matter and one that was interacted with matter, that was the driving force or the energy in that catalyst, that reaction between two parts. You could say like epoxy, or you could say like heating water, like the fire under the pot of boiling water. The part that crushes things together, it's very relative. Like the time that these fields are actually interacting could be very short, but the amount of events that happen are very large. But like in this area, which could potentially be light years across, like it would be like almost everything you see now, but matter would just start to form in this large area. because the energy fields are that big and they overlap each other, or they interact with each other. Now, that would definitely allow matter to spontaneously be created, right, without a big bang. Just as it happens outside of a black hole or in a laboratory, they can tell that, like matter can spontaneously be made. That's what seems to happen. The reason why it's not being made right now, in my opinion, is that there isn't any energy left to do that. We're already at the point where the energy level has spiked that could create matter. And now it's starting to actually degrade and come down. And also, it may be possible that the other field, or the ether or dark energy part of this field that is interacting with the matter, is becoming stronger. That way, it would have more of a dissipating effect or a spreading effect, and a more, increase in time, for what's happening. Although we wouldn't notice that, like if time actually progressed faster, we wouldn't notice it, because we could still do everything that we have to do in the time that we're given. Like, one revolution around the sun, that's a year, and we're going to be able to do everything we can. But if 1,000 revolutions happen in 1 second or 10 minutes, what's the difference? To us, it wouldn't seem as if there was any difference in the amount of time that we were living or what we could do. So it's a very unusual situation to be in, right? I kind of wanted to throw a more far out idea into this about E equals mc squared, in that, it doesn't have any time dimension. Like, in other words, they talk about the universe as 20 dimensions or 10 dimensions for sure. But, like, how do you know all these dimensions don't have their own time? Like, in other words, if you lived in that dimension, how many steps could you do before, every, like, 1,000,000 or 10 million years passed? And, like, is on an atomic level, say, trillions and trillions of years passing if you were there in a second for us? So, like, what I'm trying to say is that we don't know what time dimension the atomic level is on. Like, it's moving very, very much faster than the rotation of planets around a solar system. What if we envisioned the atomic motion around an atom moving at the same speed, as our planets move around the sun? Like, they were in sync. Like, if we measured how fast that energy field was there, and we measured how fast the planet moved, it was the same. Well, wouldn't that, like in the engine for horsepower, wouldn't that relate to more energy output? Like, in other words, horsepower is the amount of work done per unit time. This formula, equals mc squared, does not really have a time dimension as far as what we see, like, how do we know that when you measure something? I got an idea. Say you had a storage tank full of gasoline, and you open the valve, and in 1 second, you got 5 gallons of gas, and you measured it. And that was the energy level that you could calculate. But what happens if you measured 1 second and the whole tank was empty and it was 6,000 gallons, right? This is what E equals mc squared really doesn't take into account. Like, when you try to put it into interdimensional items, like from atom to solar system to universe to the remarkably small quark, like, we don't know, like, exactly what time frame that these things are on. So when you take a measurement,